So far you must be having a picture in your head as how your file moves between different stages from your local computers to becoming a repository on GitHub. Now, well, do the same practically. Let us now see how can we connect a project on your local system to a repository on GitHub. For doing so, we will be following these steps. Step 1, signing up for GitHub. Step 2, initializing a Git repository. Step 3, configuring Git for the very first time. Step 4, how to make a commit. Step 5, putting up our project on GitHub. Step 6, making some modifications to our project and updating on GitHub. Step 7, accessing our previous commits. We will proceed with our first step, which is signing up our GitHub. We will open the link github.com. So here I open my link. Since I have already signed in, so I can see that my account GitHub account page. So generally sign up page will show like this. So you have to choose your username. So this will be unique username. So you have to choose some name with your initials, and you have to specify your email address. So there they will send you a verified link. Then you have to verify. Then only the account will be activated. Then you have to choose the password. Then you have to create the account. Since I have already created the account and saved the login credentials, so it is displaying my email address and password. So just I go to sign in. So I am logging into my GitHub account. So I don't have any repository here. I am going to create a new repository. Just click new repository button. I am going to create a repository name project 1, and I want to make it public, so my team members or anyone can see the source code. If I make it private, only I can see it. Then I am going to create the repository. Press the button, create repository button. Yeah. After creating a new repository, so you can see that some of the set of commands in this GitHub account page. So if you want to create a new repository on the command line locally, so you have to execute this command. If you are working with Git for the very first time, we will run commands to configure Git to link it to our GitHub account. So for the first time setup, we have to execute the command git config -global user.name. So I have to give my username within double quote, and I have to give my email address, git config global user email . Okay. Step 4, making a commit. We will go back to our GitHub pages and execute the commands being shown from our command line. So we will also study in detail about the functionality of these commands. The first command is git init. So this command you can see it in our GitHub account page, git init. So this command will create an empty Git repository for us. Also this command will create .git repository in the same directory in which our other files are present on our local system, and the directory so created will have some default files. The second command, git add readme.md. So more generally, git add, and you have to give the file name. That will tells Git to add the newly created file to the staging area. At this point, we have taken a snapshot of our files and changes, but the changes haven't been saved yet or have not been added to our development history. In addition to adding readme.md, we can add more files to the staging area, like the file calculator.java. So that we can execute the command git add calculator.java. So readme.md is just an optional file in which we can do the documentation for our project. So, git commit -m we have to give the meaningful message. Within double quote we can give whatever the commit message you want to give. So, git commit helps in saving the changes, which means that all the files in our staging area and its associating changes will be added to our development history. -m here is used for adding a message to our commit. Why do you think we need to write a commit message? It is important to write good commit messages when you are working in a team. Commit message would help other members on your team understand what files you created or what changes you made to the files. The commit message can also be used to remind you what changes you had made with a specific commit. Step 5, putting up our project on GitHub. Now, all the files and your development history are stored locally on your computer so far. We have yet to upload those files and your development history to GitHub. So, let us do that next. So, we have to execute the command git remote add origin and we have to give the website address. So, this command gathers all the committed files from your local repository and uploads them to our repository we created on GitHub account. Keeping in mind that not all files are included in the upload, only new files and files that contain changes get uploaded. Git push -u origin master command, so that you can see as the last command in the GitHub page. This command will push all our local changes to our online repository, that is our repository on GitHub. Let us talk through this command in a little more detail. Git push tells Git that we want to upload our files and development history from the repository on our local computer to a repository hosted on GitHub. -u option will tell you we want to upload the master version of our commits to a repository on GitHub called origin. Please note that origin is simply an alias for your GitHub repository's address on GitHub. GitHub automatically linked your remote repository address to the alias origin when you installed GitHub. You can change origin to whatever GitHub repository address you would like. We will explain about the master copy of your project and how to create more copies of your code later in the module. First we have to execute git init command. So, this will create a local repository in the present working directory. So, I have already executed. Then I have a file here. So, this file I have to add as well as commit. So, git add calculator Java file, then I have to commit -m, give that message. So, first commit, just enter, then we have to execute the commands like git origin, this project command, Control C. So, now I am going to add this remote repository into my local repository. For that I have to execute this git remote add origin, this website address. Just I copy this command and go to the command line and just paste it, just enter. The next step is we have to push origin master, execute this command to transfer the project from the local repository into the remote repository. So, just go back and paste. Just I paste here, just enter. So, this will prompt for your login credentials in your GitHub account. So, we have to give the username. So, my username is B. Tangaraju and it will ask the password. I have to give the password. It will verify the login credentials. So, then it will send the file from your local repository into the remote repository. Then you can go back to your page, GitHub account page, remote repository. Just refresh this page. And you can see this calculated.java. So, previously we have not created this file. Now, we can click this file and you can get this complete source code of the file. So, this way, so we can create a local repository and we can create a project, we can add all the modifications, then we can commit into the local repository, then we can add our remote repository into the local repository, then we can push our local repository project transfer into the remote repository. Then you can go back to the remote repository and refresh the page and you can see the complete updated source code from local repository to remote repository. Now, I am going to modify the existing file calculated Java. Just I am going to add some documentation into this project. So, this program will show demo on a simple calculator. Just added some changes, then save the file. Next, we execute the command git status. So, this command will display the state of the working directory and the staging area. That is, it lets you see the changes which have been staged and which changes haven't been added to the staging area. The calculated.java file is in the project workspace, but it still has not been added to the staging area. To do so, we will run the command git add calculated.java from our command line. Just I am executing the command git add. So, this command will add the file calculated.java into the staging phase. Now, the new file calculated.java is added into the local git repository on your system. After executing the git add command, next we will go ahead and commit the changes into the git local repository along with a message using the command. So, I am going to execute git commit -m adding documentation into the project. Now, again we can check this git status. So, everything is fine. So, we no need to add or commit any new files because the working tree is clean. Next, we can see that log messages by executing the command git log. So, git log files will show us the commit details. It lists out the commits made in the repository in reverse chronological order. That is, the most recent commits show up first. Next, we will have to update all the changes made to our repository on GitHub, that is project 1. So, we will run the command git push -u origin master. Then we will refresh our GitHub page and you can see the uploaded calculated.java file with the documentation in the source code. Just I am going to execute this git push -u origin master command. It is again asking the login credentials. Okay. Then we can go back to our GitHub account and refresh this page. And we can see this, the documentation whatever we have updated in this calculator.java file.